Hi, welcome to class. My name is Don LaFond, Professor Don, and this week in TMS Academy, we are doing a couple things. We are beginning our ITF fundamentals presentations with the simple, the very first Module 1, Unit 1 PowerPoint. It has a whopping 15 slides, but I promise you I'll figure out a way to turn that into 30 minutes. I always seem to make that happen. We also, to start off with, I am going to show you the exam objectives, and I'm also going to show you where you can find the PowerPoints and some additional information under resources inside of our classroom. So a few things for us to do. We should be in and out within an hour, especially here in, well, I guess everywhere, but today is Valentine's, and I know my wife is sitting at home waiting for me to get home to take her out to dinner. So we'll keep her happy by keeping this under an hour. And I appreciate my students were able to make it to class. It's not required for TMS Academy students to come to class. But if this is helpful for you and you want to come each week, we do meet every Wednesday, at least most Wednesdays, at 5:30 in my meeting room, and that meeting room is emailed to my students. If you're out on the internet, of course, you're always welcome to come by my YouTube channel and watch the videos. You don't even have to be in TMS Academy to get these presentations. If you find them helpful, please give them a thumbs up down at the bottom, and I'll keep making them. All right. So I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to lose me, but you will be able to see what I'm looking at. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is the CompTIA ITF Fundamentals Certification Exam itself. We are learning the FC0U61. So you can find these. I thought they were in our classroom, but I looked to find a copy of them earlier today, and it doesn't look like these objectives are in our classroom. So at TMS Academy, we will go ahead and make sure those are available for you inside of our website, and I'll make sure that you get a link to the exam objectives. This exam, the CompTIA IT Fundamentals Certification Exam, it's exam number FC01 U61. The last iteration was U51, so make sure you're looking at objectives for U61. It would be the current version of the software. Now, when you look at this, and you're new to and by the way, the website you get this from doesn't really matter. This is from Japan, a website in Japan that just had an easy access to it. That's why I clicked on it. There are plenty other places online, including CompTIA itself, and then I'll get a copy of it to you as well. But the test details, it's 75 questions. They're multiple choice, and you'll have 60 minutes. Some certifications at CompTIA also include questions that are based on performance-based questions, where you'll have to do something. But this exam, purely multiple choice, so the answer is right there in front of you every time. You just got to decide if it's A, B, C, or D, or some combination of those. It tells you in the exam objectives that you have 60 minutes to take the exam, and a passing score is 650 out of 900. So when I took this exam, I think I scored a 920, but I'm sorry, an 820. So even I missed some questions, but I teach it, so it wasn't too challenging to me. If you're new to technology, your goal is to get a 700, right? Just get above, or 651, right? Get that certification in your belt. Tool for a line item for your resume, and of course it'll start the foundation for learning the other certifications that you'll learn as well. Now it's divided into domains. Those domains are listed here. So domain 1, we are actually going to start talking about when I open the PowerPoint in a few minutes. It's IT concepts and terminology, concepts and terminology, 17%, about 2 in 10 questions. Infrastructure, 22%, applications and software, 18, software development, 12, database fundamentals, 11, and security, 20%. These percentages will remain the same for the U61 version of the software, but it may change if the U71 comes out after 3 years or something. So these are not stagnant. They change every time they change the objectives for the exam. All right, I need to open my chat room here, but I can't do it on the screen. So I'm going to pause my recording. So hang on just a second. I am going to pause my recording. All right, so I opened the chat room in case students that are here with me have any questions. They can ask questions in the discussion and the chat room, and I'll look over every now and then pick it up. Now here, I want to show you these are the actual objectives. So IT concepts, you're expected to compare and contrast notational systems. So you have to know about binary and hexadecimal and decimal. You have to be able to convert between binary and hex and decimal. You need to know what ASCII is and what Unicode is. Then we'll go on to compare and contrast fundamental types of characters. What's a char? What's a string? These are important when it comes to things like, hang on a second. All right. I have to hit record pause. Something. So I'm not sure what just happened, but we glitched. I think we're back up and running again. I will address the pause there between the two recordings, and hopefully that's not a problem. But anyways, you can look at the exam objectives, these exam objectives, and you can ultimately determine before you go into the certification whether or not you can meet the objectives. Here at TMS Academy, we not only give you the training with CompTIA, but we also give you another course key for the practice tests. So you're not blind when you go into the exam. You will have an idea what they're asking for when they're talking about floats. By the way, floats is just what is it, a real number where it has decimal places, like 23 point something would be a float. A string would be a string would be something like my name, Dawn, would be a string. You guys know what integers, whole numbers. Anyways, but don't worry about that. That's in the training, and that's in a future training presentation by me. Now, I want you to notice that we have all of the objectives for all. They're all covered, so you have to have an idea what things are. And ultimately, once you go through the training and you feel comfortable with all 6 learning objectives, then you are ready to move into the exam phase. The training, once you're at 80% with the training, then we give you the key to take the exam. So that is an example of what a certification exam objective sheet looks like for CompTIA. And this one's for ITF, but if you're working on one of the other network, like Network Plus or A Plus or Cloud Essentials, you're going to have the same exam objective form, PDF in this case, that you will know what they're going to test you on. And this is what they're going to test you on. If you know what all this stuff is, you're ready for the exam. Okay, so I'm going to close that window, and I am going to come back to our class. Now, the next thing in our classroom environment, this is for ITF, and on the left-hand side, last week I showed you, here's the lessons, and here's how you're moving through the lessons. I think this is mine. Don't judge me. I'm not actually going through this course. but I think I clicked on that when I was here before. Here's some practice exams that you can take. This isn't the key that I'm going to give you for practice exams later. This is some just built into the initial course. As you go through the course, you'll take these exams. Some flashcards, you know what those are, some games that you can learn additional things. And finally, at the bottom, you have some resources. Now, the resources, there's two things here that I care about. There's student PowerPoint presentations. I'm going to download that in a minute, and we're going to go through the first one. And I'll actually walk through downloading it and show it to you. The other one is the course mappings. I'll show you that right now. So when you download the course mappings, and it will open up and it'll show you the domain objectives and where in the course it is located. So I want you to notice that 1.1, compare and contrast notational systems, like I showed you a moment ago, binary, hexadecimal, decimal, right? ASCII, Unicode. That is not in Module 1, PowerPoint 1. And the reason for that is because they don't want to scare you away by starting off your training in something that's a little challenging. Binary, hex, decimal. Decimal is not challenging, but binary and hex a little bit challenging. We're going to let you get started, and the CompTIA program will help you to build a confidence level before we hit, or before CompTIA feels like you're ready for some of the harder chapters. Notice chapter 6 before we talk about binary and hex. Chapter 6 before lesson 6. I'm sorry, out of I think there's 12 or 14 before we talk about the different programming options. But anyway, so it tells you where everything is, and all the way down. Look, lesson 18, right? So we got a long way to go before we get to network storage types with NAS and file. But you get the idea. That the information is here. And if you're looking to find out where you can learn any of these topics, this is the form that you want to use to find out where. It's the mapping of the CompTIA course to the ITF exam objectives. I hope that's helpful. And again, this one is the FC0U61 CompTIA exam. All right. So now I'm going to close out of that window. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download, and you guys are welcome to download this as well. When you go into your classroom, you will see resources at the bottom. Just click on that, and it's the very first link is downloading these PowerPoint presentations. Now with somebody that's going through the presentation with you, it will help you tremendously. I'm not sure how useful they are on their own, but it gives me a guide to talk about in general and in specific in some cases the topics that are in the PowerPoint. So anyways, it'll download as a zip file onto your computer. You double click and then extract, find a place on your hard drive that you are comfortable with. I would put let's see, let's put it in courses. Let's see, I'm gonna make a folder so that's under documents, and I'm gonna make a folder called CompTIA courses, certification courses, and then I'm gonna let's see. I have to make. I'm sorry. I have to make that here first. CompTIA certification courses. I can't spell, guys. I just don't have my glasses on, and if I'm going to leave that there. And then in here, I'm going to make a folder called ITF. Now, this is great. This is a great way just to point out that it's a good idea to ITF to compartmentalize or make folders for the different classes that you're going to take, certifications you're going to take. Uh, that way it's easy to find it down the road. And if you're like my wife, she's always like, later I'll take care of it. Later I'll organize it. Later I'll put it where it belongs. And at the end of every year, I move about 250 icons from her desktop into a folder called, I just did it last month, 2023 files. And she's like, why'd you move those? And I told her, you need room to put 2024 files. So I've been doing that for like 4 years. So if she needs something, she at least knows where to go look for it. So anyways, I'm going to name this PowerPoint presentation. And then in here, I'm going to select the folder, and that's where it's going to unzip these files. If you don't pick a specific place to put it, then ultimately what happens is you will struggle to find them later. Now, I'm going to copy all of these files. All I did there was a Control A, and then I'm going to right click and choose Cut. And then I'm going to go back a level and I'm going to put it here because I don't really need it to be in CompTIA, ITF, PowerPoint presentations, and then this file. I just want it in the PowerPoint presentations, not in also in another folder. So now that that's empty, I'm going to delete that file. And then now we have our PowerPoint presentations.